Hi, welcome students, welcome back. It's Wednesday and welcome to Wonder School Story Time. I'm Miss Val and today I have for you a stage for puppets, and it has two sides and I just made it from a box, and I will make sure to include the printouts in the comments for this video and a character sheet. So if you want to recreate this out of an Amazon box or a cereal box, you are perfectly welcome to, and you can print out the character sheet and your kids can color it, and then they can what I did was use a 3x5 card and a lot of tape and I made a loop, and the key to having these guys stand up is the loop, and also if you make sure to cut the bottom to be flat. You could also make a loop to make it a finger puppet if the loop was smaller, or you could, if you have popsicle sticks, I love the jumbo popsicle sticks, I didn't have any, those would work, or if you have like tag board that's like cereal box, you could just paste or tape the character to a piece of cardboard so that it would be a little stick kind of. So anyway, we have a fairy tale each month that the first week we tell the traditional tale, and last month we did Goldilocks, and this month we are doing stories about, do you guys remember her name? The clue is she is wearing a special cape, and it's a, what is the color? It's red. Her name is Little Red Riding Hood. So let's quickly retell the story, and you guys can tell it along with me at home. So this is Little Red Riding Hood, and she is given a mission by her mom, and what does her mom tell her to do? It has to do with a basket of goodies, right? And who is Little Red Riding Hood supposed to take this basket of goodies to? Grandma. And where does Grandma live? Well, she lives through the forest, and she lives in a little cottage, right? All alone, right? So, her mom tells her to go through the forest and to not stop, and she tells Little Red Riding Hood to not talk to strangers and to just go straight to Grandma's house, doesn't she? That is good advice, isn't it? Does Little Red Riding Hood follow that advice? Not really, right? She stops to pick flowers in the forest, and while she is doing that, who sneaks up on her? Who is that guy? The wolf. And the wolf is very clever, isn't he? And he does not have good motivations, does he? So he stops and talks to Little Red Riding Hood, doesn't he? And then he takes, after Little Red Riding Hood says that she needs to go to Grandma's house, what does the wolf do? Well, he takes a shortcut to Grandma's house. Here is Grandma's house. Okay, and once he's at Grandma's house, he knocks on the door, doesn't he? And Grandma calls out and she says, "Is it you, Little Red Riding Hood?" And is it Little Red Riding Hood? It is not. It is not Little Red Riding Hood. We're going to switch scenes really quick here. And this is inside Grandma's house. Oh, I forgot. Here's Grandma. Grandma has a little bit of fuzz on her. And what does the wolf... So the wolf basically barges into Grandma's house and Grandma is terrified. And what does the wolf do in this story? This is crazy, but the wolf eats Grandma, right? It's crazy. And then the wolf looks in Grandma's closet and what does he pick out? A nice little outfit. So, and he gets in Grandma's bed and pulls the covers over and he pretends to be Grandma. He is hoping for a second lunch, isn't he? He ate Grandma and now who does he want to eat? So, Little Red Riding Hood is standing at the door. She's gotten to Grandma's house. And what happens in the house? The wolf tells Little Red Riding Hood to come in. And it's kind of a scratchy voice. And Little Red Riding Hood knows that something is up, right? She knows. And she asks the wolf questions about his appearance because he does not look like Grandma, does he? No. He has big ears, right? And long, big teeth and a weird voice. Nothing about this is saying Grandma to her. And then she realizes in the moment that it's not Grandma, and the wolf jumps out of bed and runs after Little Red Riding Hood. And Little Red Riding Hood runs to the door and yells out the door. She yells for help. And that was a really smart idea, wasn't it? She may have talked to a stranger, but she yelled for help. That is a really good idea. And then somebody heard her. And it was do you remember what his name is? What his title is? The woodsman. He was in the woods chopping trees. And what does he do to the wolf? Somehow it's a little ambiguous, but basically he gets Granny out of the wolf. Granny is still... Thankfully, Granny is not dead, right? And she's a little bit wet though, because the wolf just like barfed her up, you know? And she's like, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you saved us, Mr. Woodsman." And the woodsman then takes the wolf, in the story that we printed out, he takes the wolf deeper into the forest and just kind of does like a catch and release with him. There's other versions of that story, right? But we're going to tell the preschool version of that fairy tale. So anyway, and then, so they go off into the forest, deep into the forest, and Granny and Little Red Riding Hood have a nice little lunch and they enjoy the basket of goodies that Little Red Riding Hood brought. The end. So today we are going to read a book called Frederico and the Wolf. And we are going to compare how it is like Little Red Riding Hood. Already we know that Frederico is a boy's name, so it is about a boy and not a girl. And we are going to find out some more differences in just a minute. Frederico and the wolf. And this story has some Spanish words in it too, and I bet you are so smart that you could probably figure out what they mean. Once upon a modern time, a boy named Frederico left to buy ingredients to make the perfect pico. So his mom is sending him on a mission. Cuidado, called his mama as he pedaled toward the shops. Mind abuelo's grocery list and don't make other stops. Past the buildings, cars, and cabs, young Frederico scurried until he reached the marketplace where people browsed unhurried. So is he walking through the forest? No, he has, oh look, he has a basket, doesn't he? He is riding his bike through the city to get to the market. He filled the basket on his bike with romas, herbs and limes, jalapenos, onions, and a peck of Anaheims. He added garlic, pickles, bread, and other market goods, then pedaled through the city park and deep into the woods. Now he's going into the woods. Oh, who is that? He looks familiar, doesn't he? A fallen branch had blocked the path as Rico stopped his ride. With steady force, he pushed and budged the barrier aside. Hola, called un lobo. I wonder what that word means. Catching Rico unaware. I see you've packed a hefty lunch. You got some grub to spare? Sorry, Lobo, Rico said. I must be on my way. I have to be at Grandpa's shop by 12 o'clock today. Frederico grabbed his bike and left the wolf behind. Little did he know the wolf had other plans in mind. We know what kind of plans he has, right? They're not good plans. La tienda was deserted. Rico listened. Not a sound. The sign said, closed. And what were those? Some paw prints on the ground. Frederico peeked inside, alarmed by what he saw. A figure waved him over with a large and furry paw. Abuelo? Whispered Frederico, pulling off his hood. Yes, it's me, but I can't see. Come closer if you would. I think you need a shave. Your beard has grown so thick. You think so, said El Lobo. Steady grooming does the trick. Your arms have gotten grande. My new workouts made me strong. New dentures, too? Ah, they help me chew because they're sharp and long. By now, the wolf was drooling. All this chatter's getting old. I'm hungry, bub. I need some grub before I pass out cold. Do you think, well, in Little Red Riding Hood, the real story, what does the wolf want to eat? Does he want to eat whatever's in the basket, the goodies? No, he doesn't. He has other plans. Okay, said Rico, let me see. I've brought your favorite treats. Whole grain bread, a cabbage head, a jar of pickled beets. El Lobo's nose began to twitch. Mi niño, here's the deal. Set those yucky things aside, and I'll make you my meal. Ha ha ha. He bounded from the silla with a grunting, growling shout, but Rico tossed some chili powder straight into his snout. The wolf inhaled. He sniffed, he snuffed. He itched and twitched and wheezed. He tried to wipe his dripping nose, but he sneezed. Frederico ducked and dashed, then rummaged through his sack. Not so fast, you tasty tyke. I haven't had my snack. But Rico quickly plotted. When the wolf's mouth opened wide, he grabbed un habanero and he jammed it deep inside. Have you eaten a habanero before? My husband loves to eat them. El Lobo gulped. He gagged and coughed. His ojos blazed bright red. Steam was puffing out his ears. I need to dunk my head. He hurtled through La Puerta with a shrieking, gasping scream and dashed as fast as he could go toward the distant stream. Ayuda! Cried Abuelo from inside a bolted box. Rico found him safe and snug in just his shorts and socks. Gracias! He scrambled out with shouts of pride and joy. I thought that wolf would do us in, but you prevailed, my boy. They cleaned the mess, and Gramps got dressed. They shared a bit of lunch. How about we make a sauce that packs a special punch? They chopped and diced, used lots of spice, and simmered sauce all night, then bottled their concoction, Wolfsbane salsa, extra bite. Do you think you would like to try that salsa? Do you like spicy things? Make sure you have a glass of milk nearby. So this is a recipe for the perfect pico de gallo, and that's a type of fresh salsa. And then these are all the words in the story that aren't in English, they're in Spanish. Okay, remember Mabel and Sam at home from yesterday? And yesterday, they imagined their box to be a ship. And Mabel was the captain, and her little brother Sam was first mate. And they used the blanket to imagine that part as the ocean. And they had the box, there was lots of boxes around because their family is moving. And they wanted to stay out of the way, so they stayed in their box. They had an adventure on the high seas. And then pizza came. And they had pizza with the inhabitants, aka Mom and Dad and the movers. And now, today, we are at the museum. Is that a new chair? Asked Sam. No, said Mabel. That is the lullaby chair. It looks different, said Sam. It did look different. At the before house, the lullaby chair always stood in front of the yellow wall and rocked on the mossy green rug. Now the lullaby chair looked like a stranger, but it wasn't. Sam just needed reminding. And that is how Mabel became a tour guide. Do you guys have a lullaby chair? Do you have a chair, a special chair that your mom or dad reads stories to you? Maybe in your room. Maybe it's a rocking chair. Welcome to the New House Museum, ladies and gentlemen, said tour guide Mabel. No ladies, said Sam. Just me. The gentleman? Shh, said Mabel. You have to whisper inside the museum, out of respect for the other visitors. Mabel pointed her umbrella at Mr. Woofy. Oh, Oh, whispered Sam. Sam followed tour guide Mabel into the living room. Behold, she said. Be what? Asked Sam. Behold, said Mabel. That means look at this. Sam looked. Tour guide Mabel pointed at the chicken pillow Great Aunt Alice made when Mabel was a baby. This is the ancient chicken of Cleveland. It is an important artifact, said Mabel. What's an artifact? Asked Sam. A thing. It is an important thing. Sam nodded. Why is it important? Because it is old, said Mabel. The older you are, the more important you are. Oh, said Sam. Sam followed tour guide Mabel to the kitchen. Behold, she said, pointing to the table. I'm beholding. That's Grandma's old table, said Sam. Nice artifact. This is the famous table where the peanut butter and chocolate chip sandwich was invented, said Mabel. Oh, I eat those, said Sam. Yes, said Mabel, but you ate them second. Museums are about people who do things first. You ate them first, said Sam. Why, yes. Yes, I did, said Mabel. Tour guide Mabel led Sam to the next exhibit. Do you know what this is? Asked Mabel. My bunny wubby, said Sam. It is a Mississippi wishing rabbit. They are very rare. Oh, said Sam. Petting its ears brings 7 years good luck, said Mabel. Really? Asked Sam. No touching, said Mabel. You're touching, said Sam. I am the tour guide. I am not touching. I am demonstrating. Oh, said Sam. Let's move on, said tour guide Mabel. Wait, said Sam. What about this artifact here? Ooh, that looks like a yummy artifact, doesn't it, guys? Have you eaten one of these kinds of artifacts? Maybe? They taste very good with frosting on them, don't they? That's not an artifact, said Mabel. That is a frosted pitty pat. It is the ancient frosted pitty pat of Calimari, said Sam, the last one of its kind. Oh, said Mabel. And I am the first to discover it, said Sam. I see, said Mabel. Do you? Asked Sam. Not everyone can see its pitty-pat goodness. I do see, said Mabel. No touching, said Sam. He licked his fingers. I am demonstrating the goodness. Okay, that was the end of At the Museum, and tomorrow they are going to outer space. So stay tuned. For our next story, we are reading a book called Nanette's Baguette. And this is by Mo Willems. And this is not the Mo Willems story that I was going to do a craft with. This is a bonus Mo Willems story. So Mo Willems is our author of the month this month, and I am going to read a Mo Willems story tomorrow too, and I will point you guys toward a craft that you can do from home. So, Nanette's Baguette. This is a baguette, and can you guess who that is? Yeah, Nanette. Have you eaten a baguette before? They are delicious, especially when they are fresh from the bakery or from the oven. Nanette! Today is a day Nanette won't soon forget. Today, in the kitchenette, Mom tells Nanette that Nanette gets to get the baguette. Woohoo! warm. Baguettes smell wonderful. Getting to get the baguette is Nanette's biggest responsibility yet. Is Nanette set to get the baguette? What's that right there? It's a little coin. It's money. You bet! But on the way, Nanette sees Georgette and Suzette and Brett with his clarinet. Look, there's Mr. Barnett with his pet, Antoinette. Nanette pets Antoinette. Did Nanette forget the baguette? Oh, she's on a mission too, isn't she, from her mom? Just like Red Riding Hood. There's not a wolf in this story, though. Got a jet! I've got a baguette to get, says Nanette to the quartet. Baker Juliet has met Nanette. She knows it is Nanette's first baguette get. So Juliet gets Nanette the best baguette yet. Nanette, did you get the baguette? Did she? Yes. She's smelling it, isn't she? You bet. The baguette is warm. The baguette smells wonderful. And there sure is a lot of it. Uh-oh. Crack! What is going on in that picture, guys? Is she supposed to put it in her mouth yet? No. Oh, the baguette is warm. The baguette tastes wonderful. And there still is a lot of it. Oh no, look, there's a bite at this end too now. Crack! The baguette is still warm. The baguette still tastes wonderful. And there still is some of it. Can Nanette stop tasting the baguette? What do you guys think? Is she gonna stop? Not yet! Crack, 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 crack! Oh no! Baguette! That says oh no. There is no more baguette. Nanette begins to fret. Will Mom be upset? Will Mom regret she let Nanette get the baguette? Kaboom! Now Nanette is wet. Wet with no baguette. This is as bad as it can get. Nanette wishes Mom had never let Nanette get that baguette. Maybe Nanette will move to Tibet. That's far away. Oh, Tibet is as far away as you can get. Nanette would need a jet. Can Nanette go home instead? Can Nanette face her mom? What will she do? Where is the baguette, Nanette? Asked Mom. Did you forget? Nanette did not forget. Nanette is upset. Nanette is beset with regret. She sweats. I ate the baguette. Oh, sweetie. Mom hugs Nanette. It is warm. It is wonderful, like a million baguettes. The day's not over yet, Nanette, says Mom. Let's reset. Yes, let's! Juliet is surprised to see Nanette, but not too surprised. Nanette's mom gets another baguette. Now they are all set. Mom, Nanette, and a baguette. The baguette is warm. The baguette smells wonderful. Crack! Mom! Today is a day Nanette won't soon forget. Oh, she's sharing it. She shares it. All right, thank you guys so much for listening to Story Time, and I will see you back tomorrow, Thursday, and we are going to read another Mo Willems book, and we'll have another craft, and hopefully you can color those Little Red Riding Hood characters, and you can have some fun retelling the story, and you could make up your own version of the story too. Yeah. All right. Bye.